When I was about 16 years old, I joined something at my school called Mountain Campus. And it's basically where you go spend a semester learning about the woods and going to a separate campus. You didn't have any phones, you didn't have any distractions. You had real conversations with people, and you would go on solo camping trips and you would go on group camping trips for about a week at a time. I still remember sitting on a mossy rock one day, and I was surrounded by silence and nothing but a notebook in my lap. That was when I first started thinking differently. I just started my YouTube channel at the time, and it wasn't anything serious, but I could feel that there was something on the horizon. And I had this sort of feeling in my chest that I wanted more. And I couldn't even explain what more meant. I just knew that the life that I was being handed wasn't enough for me. And not in an ungrateful way. I love the situation I'm in. I love my house, I love my parents, I love where I live. But I just know that I want more in life. And I remember towards the end of the semester, when the school year was coming to a close, we had one assignment that really stuck with me. And that was we had to write a letter to ourselves from 5 years from now. Now, that was a little while ago, and I'll receive the letter when I'm about 21 years old. We'll see if I resonate with anything still that's in that letter. But I distinctly remember what was in that letter. I remember I wanted creative freedom, I wanted to travel, and I wanted to build something on my own terms. And I also distinctly remember putting, I hope our wife/girlfriend is very, very nice, or something like that. I thought it was very funny. And I wrote that I wanted to be a millionaire, but not for the money. I think I wrote, I want to be a millionaire because it symbolized a version of myself that had it all figured out and that had sort of financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom, and could do whatever he wanted without the restriction of finances. But what I didn't write, though, but what I felt really deep down inside, was that I wanted to prove that I was capable of something bigger in my life. And I wanted to become someone that I could be proud of. The thing about wanting more in your life is it can be very, very difficult, and it doesn't go away at all. It's like a hum in your body that never stops, a small vibration in the back of your mind that's nagging at you constantly. But also it feels very physical. It's almost like a pressure in your chest. To put it another way, it's almost like there's a transparent steel wall in front of you, and you can see your goals and aspirations and the version of your life that you really want, but it's behind this impenetrable wall, but you can still see through it. You can see the travel, you can see the confidence of your future self, you can see the fitness level of your future self, but you can't get there, at least not yet. And for me, this drives me a little crazy. You really just want to burst through that wall because you know there's a version inside of you that is meant for that life. It's almost like in your mind, you know that you're gonna have it and you know you're gonna get there, but your physical reality hasn't caught up to your mental reality yet. And that life behind the steel wall is sort of stuck behind all of the procrastination, laziness, and self-doubt or hesitation that you may have about yourself. But it's not about fame or validation. It's just about living up to your full potential and what you can be proud of. And I think the word potential gets thrown around a lot, at least in my life, because I've always felt in my life that I could always be capable of a lot, and I have had the potential in a lot of things if I really practiced at it. And so for example, in tennis, I feel like I have a lot of potential in tennis. Occasionally, I'll hit a really, really good shot and I'll have a really, really good match. But then the next day, I'll have a terrible match and I'll get in my own head about it. I think if I just practiced every single day and I really, really put my mind towards it, I could become a world-class tennis player. But one, that's not really the life that I want to be living, because I don't really want to be a world-class athlete. I don't really want that to be my life, just personal preference. But for other areas of my life, I think it can be quite frustrating because I can see where I can get, but it just requires an immense amount of hard work. And that gap between where I could be and where I actually am is the most painful part. And that's really what keeps me up at night. I am always thinking what I could do better, what I could have done better the day before. That little extra time that I might have scrolled on social media, that could have been placed in other areas for me being more productive I could have worked on my free digital product that's coming out soon, or I could have worked on a new YouTube video. That is what wanting more feels like. And it can be really, really hard because you know that you're gonna get to this life eventually. You just have to put in the work every single day, even when you don't want to. But here's the thing that nobody tells you. People in your life are just not gonna get it. Just the other day, I saw my old best friend with a group of girls sitting at a bench outside a coffee shop. And I was with my current best friend, and we went over and went to say hi. We talked to that group for a little bit. And when we were leaving, he did something that I would have never expected him to do. He actually, as I was walking away, he started mocking my YouTube channel. He mocked one of my YouTube playlists, My Journey to $10,000 a Month, and he started laughing and mockingly saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire one day," and talking about how I only got 1 like on YouTube back in the day. And while all of this was going on, the whole group of girls at the table were laughing. And as much as I was hurt by the fact that he was saying all this, I think it just reinforced the fact that people don't get what I'm trying to do. They just don't understand my vision. And that's perfectly fine. And you don't have to understand what I'm trying to do. And he said one final thing that I think really hit it home. He said for me to stop pretending and go get a job. And at that point, the whole table erupted in laughter. And it stung. It did. Not because I needed their approval in any way, but just for the fact that maybe I am extremely delusional and maybe I'm not worthy for that sort of life when I'm older. The one where I have financial, time, and location freedom. But here's what I've learned from that experience and what I've learned from experiences like that in the past. If your dream makes perfect sense to everyone, your dream is not big enough. And it's okay to outgrow people and outgrow friends. And in fact, it's necessary. That old best friend is in a very different mindset, and I loved him as a friend, and I wish the best for him in the rest of life. But once I realized that that sort of friend is not one I want to keep around, I started hanging out with him less, and now, of course, he's not my best friend anymore. When you're trying to truly change your life, and you're trying to build something that no one around you has built yet, most people will try to pull you back down. But I don't think it comes from a place of hatred. I don't think anyone really hates me. I hope they don't. But I think it's just because my growth reminds them of their own stagnation in their life. And I do have to say, social media makes this a lot worse. I don't know about you guys, but my Instagram feed is filled with 18-year-olds with G-Wagons and making $1 million a month, living in Bali and having the best life that they could ever ask for. And suddenly, when you view that for long enough, you start to feel very, very behind in life. But here's the truth. You're not behind. You're just early in your journey. The people that you see on Instagram who have made it, they didn't just start yesterday. They've been working at it just like you for years, quietly in the background. And I guarantee you that they have failed more times than they will ever post about. And just because someone else's path looks different from yours doesn't mean that yours isn't working. Progress doesn't have to be loud. And in fact, for my habit tracker, that I count the habit, even if I do 1 minute or 1 rep of each habit. That means 1 push-up counts. That means reading 1 page counts. That means 1 minute of meditation counts. When you're doing habits, the important thing is about compounding. And so when you do 1 tiny little habit per day, that is good enough. Now, of course, I would encourage you to do more than that, but if it helps you check off that habit for the day, I would recommend doing that. Because even if you aren't feeling like it, you really don't want to just not do that habit for the day. You really want to keep the momentum going so that you can eventually build onto that habit and build more and become healthier in every area of your life. There's no perfect day to start. There's no right time, as people say, and there's no perfect offer to launch. And I truly feel like you'll never feel 100% ready. If I didn't take the step when I didn't feel confident, I would still be at square one, and this YouTube channel and this business would never exist. Because you grow by doing and you grow by failing. The greatest minds in this world have learned by failing hundreds, if not thousands of times. Also, you have to build belief before showing results. You have to believe in yourself. You don't need to go from step A to step Z. You just need to take your next step, slowly but surely. And the thing is, they'll call you delusional. They'll laugh, they'll doubt, they'll be mean to you even. And they'll even think that you're trying to be someone that you're not. But none of that matters. Every artist, every sports player, every entrepreneur, they were delusional at the start. Every great story doesn't start with someone who has the proof when they're just starting out. They have a feeling. And one day, when you keep going through all of your habits throughout your day, you start building that business, you start going to the gym more, that steel wall will start to crack, and you will start to see more and more of your dream life. And you sort of have a mindset shift. You go from, why would it be me, to why not me? And then of course, one day, when all of your habits have compounded, you will realize that that is you. But not because it just happened overnight, and not because of some overnight success, but because you earned it. Because you put in the hard work, you put in the work for your habits, and you started believing in a version of yourself that no one else could see yet. So if you're watching this and you're feeling stuck, and you're feeling that no one in your life gets what you're trying to do, I'm telling you right now, you are not crazy. You're just early, so keep going. Every rep at a time, every page at a time, every line of writing at a time. And one day, all of those small things will eventually compound and will turn into something undeniable. And everyone will look around you and say, I knew you'd make it, but then you'll remember who really did, you. And remember, it's only delusional until it works. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.